Um, Thank you, everyone, for joining us. As SJ mentioned, there's going to be at least two parts to what we're going to be doing here today. We'll give a little bit of an update on the school, in some ways, a state of Syms, both some of the eternal parts of the school, but also some of the new pieces. Show you some also from some fresh data on a variety of the things that are going on within the school. And then we'll also do a little bit of a recap through the last year that we had, the double high, the 36th anniversary of the school, and a lot of the celebrations that we had to be able to bring a lot of the strengths of the school to the community and to extend the ways in which the things that we've developed are able to impact things beyond just Washington Heights and Midtown. And so welcome to Syms version 2.0. As you will see, there's a variety of new things over the last few years that we have put in place that didn't exist for the alumni, that didn't exist back when you were on campus. For others who knew a bit of Syms a while ago, we'll give you an update on what the current landscape is, and be able to do that through the lens of both the long-term and also this past year. So first off, let me just highlight one of the key things about what are some of the things that our religion, that Judaism emphasizes to us about what we should be doing. A key part of it is preparing. A key part is being able to be intentional about how we invest in our foundation that we are building for the things that are going to be coming up. The first time that chinuch is mentioned in the Torah, so Rashi emphasizes that it's anticipating what is the goal of what something or some person is going to have to achieve, and then being able to arm them through chinuch, with being able to excel at being able to do that. And so whether it was Bnei Israel in the Midbar, the Jews going through the desert and having to be honed over 40 years to be able to conquer and then build a nation. We had just very recently in the Parsha also the giving of the Aseret Adibros, the 10 Commandments, and the twice as many psukim, twice as many of the verses that are dedicated to the preparation at the foot of Mount Sinai, as to the actual 13 psukim, the 13 verses that are the actual 10 commandments. There's also right now we're heading into, in the bottom left, the preparation for being able to build the tabernacle, the Mishkan in the Midbar, and all the preparation that went into that is echoed in the Parsha, in the Torah portion that we talk about it in, which is Vahi Bayom HaShmini, Parsha of Shmini, the 8th day. But it wasn't the 8th day, it was the first day of the inauguration of the Mishkan. But without the prior 7 days of preparation that Moshe had gone through, there wouldn't have been able to be an 8th day. And so that's one of the things that it's talking about there. And then in terms of being able to prepare for our holidays and the other events in life, we have Shavuos, which is going to be coming up, the tail end of this school year. We have 49 days worth of preparation and counting down to it. And typically we have Shloshim Yom Lifnei Chag, 30 days before any festival, being able to invest a lot more time than is needed for being able to do that, in terms of being able to make sure that the preparation is excellent. There's a phrase that I've heard attributed to Rav Soloveitchik Zatzal, that Ein Kedusha B'li Hachana, there isn't holiness without preparation. And so one of the key things across the nation is typically that preparation for the decades of life that are going to be coming after people are 20, 21, 22, comes through college. And that is the time to be able to build those muscles, whether it's skills, whether it's habits, whether it's the work ethic and other things like that, that is the time that people typically do that. Unfortunately, across the nation, outside of YU, this has been a declining set of preparation that people are doing. Over the last 4 years, enrollment in college has actually gone down 7%. It gives us a bit of a contrast compared to the data that we can see when it comes to Syms. Over that same amount of time over the last 4 years, this is what the enrollment has been at Syms. It's gone up a whole bunch. It's gone up across the school 23%, compared to down 7% across the nation. On the women's campus in particular, up 42%. On the men's campus, up a very holy 18%, if you will. And so these are some of the things that we can see are very different in terms of the current YU. I've been getting a bunch of questions from people since October 7th. Hasn't YU been seeing a spike in enrollment? And I have to back them up 4 years and show them that, well, actually, over the last 4 years, we've had a dramatic increase in terms of the enrollment students coming to build their foundation at YU, being able to do it, whether it's on the Torah side, whether it's on the secular side, or what we'll also talk about in terms of the combination of the two, as being one of the key things that is attracting a whole bunch of students to be able to come and be impacted by their time at YU. What are they going to be doing when they come to Syms in terms of that foundation building? So one of the lenses that we can take to that is take a look at it through the lens of our mission statement. There's a mission statement that we created about 4 years ago about what are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to develop within Syms as we are helping them do that foundation building? And so to go to our mission statement and some of the things that we're going to fill in, that we're going to highlight on the next slide in terms of how we're going to be able to accomplish it, our mission, and think about some key pieces of this that would be very distinct compared to just about any other school. We develop Torah-grounded professionals who excel in both the workplace and in the community. First off, just starting off towards the tail end of this, a lot of the things that I love about YU is the scope of what we try to do with developing our students. We don't just develop the 9 to 5 of them. We don't just develop it for when they're walking into the workplace, but also a lot of the most important things they do is from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., making sure that they're going to be well-rounded, that they're going to be prepared for life, and that they're going to be able to contribute to the community in ways that translate their organizational skills into being able to help build the schools, the shuls, the tzedakah organizations. And so that's one of the key things that you can see here within the mission. And then also the Torah-grounded part and the excelling are a couple of the things that we're going to focus on as we go through some of the next slides. One of the other thing to recognize, and this goes back to YU's longtime tagline, which is Torah Umada. If you think about what is the most important letter of Torah Umada, the most important letter is the U, is the and that comes between the Torah and the Mada. And a lot of the key things about how we can be able to bring our uniqueness both into the shiur room when we are learning Torah and our uniqueness into the workplace is by tapping all of us to be able to bring it into each of those. The business knowledge that our students gain from the Syms classes, they should be using that to be able to learn more uniquely when they're learning in their shiurim, when they're learning Gemara and other things like that. And vice versa, how to be Torah-grounded professionals excelling in the workplace is another key part in the other direction in terms of the U. And so how do we accomplish that? Being able to have this mission be accomplished. Give you a little bit of a lens on it also. Over the last month, I've given to either high schoolers or to students who are in Eretz Yisrael right now before coming to YU, probably about 15 talks about Syms. And I start off by showing them this mission statement, and then I ask them, how many of you would be able to achieve this mission today? And almost without fail, there are no hands in the air. And I asked them, how many of you want to achieve this mission? And then we get a whole bunch of hands in the air. To give you a contrast to the no hands in the air about who could achieve this mission right now, I can take you back to this past May, when we have at the end of the program, the senior dinner that we have for Syms, and we have all of those students who have gone through the program and are now there to celebrate and mark their getting to graduation. And I started off the one in May by reminding them about the mission and then asked that same question. How many of you could achieve that mission today? And we had a sea of hands in the room. And so one of the key things is, what is that difference between when they are graduating high school or when they're in Israel in their gap year before they come to YU, of having no hands in the air, and then at the tail end of the program, having hands in the air. A lot of it is the curriculum that we developed. A lot of it is the things that go beyond the curriculum. And so let me bring you through a bunch of things when it comes to the curriculum and a bunch of the details around how we put each of these pieces in place for the students. We're going to start off with the, if you will, business training that we have within Syms. We have 5 departments that map to major parts of business. And each of those are things that the students can major in. During the first year that the students are in the program, there's one key thing that we have them do and 2 key reasons that we have them do it. The thing we have them do is take courses across all 5 of these departments. The first of the reasons that we have them do that is exploration. One of the critical things when you're building your foundation is to find what is the best fit for both my can and my want, for my capabilities and my passions. And so even if you've taken a whole bunch of internships before you come to YU, even if your mother is the CEO of a company and you hear about it across the dinner table, even if you've gone to take your kid to work day, There's all sorts of ways in which you haven't experienced all the different parts of business that might be a better fit for you. You might be latching onto some things too soon. You might have not been introduced to a bunch of things that might be the best for you. And so having the students do that exploration during the first year of the program is a critical part of their being able to find where they're going to be able to excel. So that's the first of the reasons to have them take those things across all 5 of these departments. The second one, in terms of being able to excel within whatever domain your initial domain is, even if you're working in a function, you're going to have to interact with all the other functions in the company. You're going to have to be able to understand their lingo, be able to put on their lens, be able to see how they coalesce into an organization by having all the functions come together. And so being able to have your arms around all the different pieces is a key part of being able to excel within the workplace. And so that's the first of the elements, having them be able to take a toe in the water across all of these before they decide where they want to dive in deep. What is the pillar on which they want to build their career? Or what is the more than one pillar that they might want to be able to do? Because a lot of the best jobs today are the ones that are across domains. They mix multiple pieces of the organization to be able to have even more strength. A lot of times you can be able to lift heavier things and do cooler things if you don't just have a right bicep that you've developed, but also have a left bicep that is going to enable you to lift better things. And so that's one of the key things that we have students be able to explore, be able to try out, and then find one or more of the things. We call these dual majoring or majoring and minoring. And our students are increasingly doing both of those. And so I'll mention a little bit the data on that, about the increase in that. But that's one of the other key things that we want to be able to have them do as they're trying to understand all the things that go into the exploration and then the doubling down on being able to really build their expertise in the areas that they're going to be able to excel in the workplace. However, we also have the being Torah grounded in the workplace and also being able to excel in the community. That's where another piece of our curriculum that we introduced about 3 years ago, our Jewish values curriculum, comes from. The first of these courses that's listed here, Practical Workplace Halacha, takes the students through the key forks in the road that they're going to face when they face a workplace dilemma, something that is going to challenge their Yiddishkeit, something that is going to have them think twice, maybe, about what they headed into, and then, because of that, have them be a lot more intentional about thinking about maybe that's not a domain that I should be heading into, if that's going to be testing a bunch of the things that are my rock solid values that I've been able to develop throughout life. So things about, when are you going to tell them about Shabbos? When are you going to be able to prepare better for having mandatory luncheons in treif restaurants? Are you going to be prepared for the holiday parties that you're going to be invited to? All of these kinds of forks in the road, a full semester worth of being prepared for them, being able to learn from people who have both workplace experience and also rabbinic quals. And so back to the being able to have the and across these, the people who are teaching within Syms, and especially within the Jewish values curriculum, are the people who are able to cross those boundaries and be able to bring the best of both, to be able to have our students be able to understand how to be able to make better decisions and be better prepared for being able to be in the workplace and in the community. So that's the first of those courses in terms of Practical Workplace Halacha. Second of them, Jewish Public Policy, is in the community, being able to have ways in which the students are going to understand how to be able to translate their skills into being able to help on a board or as an executive director, all of these other ways that they're going to be able to have the community get stronger from their skills. And so that and several of the other courses that we have within the Jewish values curriculum as being the ways that they're going to be able to have the rest of the mission statement that we just saw on the last slide be able to be realized as we're preparing them both for their careers and for life. And so now hopefully you can see a bit of the difference between no hands being up in the air about being able to realize that mission and the end of the program, of them being prepared to excel as Torah-grounded professionals, both in the workplace and in the community. And that's one of the key things about being able to give people a picture of that foundation building that they're going to be doing, the preparation and the investing for the decades of life that they're going to be able to use when it comes to Syms, and being able to have that preparation be a lot better than if they either bypassed it, rushed through it, or went to elsewhere to be able to go do it. So in terms of one of the things that I mentioned, being able to do duals, being able to do dual degrees or majoring and minoring, as I mentioned, that has gone up tremendously just now over the last 4 or 5 years as we've been trying to pave that path and also have the students understand how to be able to do that. To give you some data, 4 years ago, 54% of our students were doing duals. This past year, 74% of our students were doing that. And one of the key things is also that you can do this across schools. This is one of the other things that YU makes very nice and easy for students, and that is to cross boundaries. You're not stuck on the island that you come into. You can switch schools if you find in your exploration that there's a better school. If Syms isn't right for you, you can switch easily into Stern or into Yeshiva College, and vice versa. You can change majors as long as you make sure that by graduation you fulfilled all the requirements for being able to graduate. You can switch majors multiple times and relatively late if you need to. And also, you can add on minors and a second major if it's within Syms by just visiting our academic advisors and being able to have that be done for you. And so increasingly the students are doing that, but also across the schools. You've actually had a 4x increase during that time in the number of Syms students who are minoring in something in Stern or in Yeshiva College, majoring in finance and minoring in math or English. The valedictorian, a woman from a couple of years ago, majored in Syms and business analytics and minored in computer science in Stern College. And so being able to mix and match with the duals and be able to find across the university what are all the key things that I'm going to be able to benefit from, and then being able to have us work with you. Your advisors guiding you through it, and the deans being able to have you think through what are the best ways to be able to get to that career that you want. Those are all the things that go into being able to have YU help you excel and build that foundation to be able to have the next decades of life be even better for you, richer, more impactful, and all the other ways that it's going to be better preparation for those. So now let me give you 3 interim examples of the excellence that our students have been building through some of the eyes of our students. One of them is going to be showing something that brings together, in some ways in a capstone, but beyond YU, of being able to bring together all of the things that they've been learning throughout the program. So there is a club called Tamid that is not just at YU, but is across 57 other universities. Just about every university that you would name, all of the Ivies except for one, like the top universities all participating, having a Tamid chapter on their campus. And what Tamid does, there's a little bit of an education side about Israel, but the main things that they do, they have a consulting wing and they have an investment fund wing where the students are getting some practical experience, being able to apply the things that they've learned in class. And we'll be showing you a little bit later within Syms how within classes themselves, the students are getting application also, but where they can be able to bring together all the things that they're learning to be able to excel in the ways that they're going to be able to apply it to real world issues. One of the things that Tamid does across all of those chapters is at the end of every year, the capstone is they bring together all of those 58 universities to have a case competition. Each of the universities has their own, and they find the best team at that university, and then the 58 send their best teams to this year-ending case competition. 3 years ago, the school that won across all of these 58 universities, top universities, happened to be Yeshiva University. So that was a big win that we had of being able to coalesce that excellence into being able to prove yourself in that case competition. Lo and behold, a year ago, Yeshiva University won again. And so 2 times in 3 years in this global case competition against the best of the other universities, our students brought together all of the skills that they needed to be able to show that excellence within that domain. And so that's the first of the examples that we have in terms of being able to show the coalescing, the foundation building that goes on while you're at Syms. Another one of them, a little bit later, we're going to get into all of the entrepreneurial side of the university that we've been able to build, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, giving students firsthand knowledge of what does it take to build a startup, and also what does it take to invest in a startup. A year ago, one of our student teams, 2 Syms students and then another co-founder from outside Syms, decided to found a company, and we're building that company. And this is Kenny Book and Ari Wax at the right and the left within this picture. They were founding a company in fintech and the finance realm. They decided to try their hat after developing it a little bit at trying to apply to the best and the granddaddy of the startup incubators in the world, something called Y Combinator. They ended up, this is with thousands and thousands of applications that Y Combinator gets. They select a tiny percentage of those. The company that Ari and Ken founded was accepted to Y Combinator. They were in the spring 2023 cohort of it. This is the ultimate imprint on you have the training, the preparation, and being able to become world-beating high-impact founders. Come on board at Y Combinator, and then at the end of it, during demo day, be able to pitch a whole bunch of investors. And now Ken and Ari are out there being able to conquer the world through being able to have their idea, change it through founding, building something from scratch. And so those are a couple of the examples through the lenses of some of our students who have gone off very different things that they are doing, the case competition, the founding things and stuff like that. Another one of the realms, the third one that I'll cite for you for the excellence side, is something that we had the merit a couple of years ago to be able to inaugurate. This is our Bloomberg lab. This is the Drellig data lab that we inaugurated with its Bloomberg terminals in it. What Bloomberg is the heart and soul in a lot of ways of the data and information that companies use to be able to tune into markets, be able to do analyses and other things like that. When our students walk into those companies, the companies ideally would love to see some hard skills in being able to think through problems, do it in a Bloomberg way, be able to know how to integrate in the tools and the capabilities that they're going to be able to use with the Bloomberg terminals. You might be able to see behind me in this picture the two screens that are up in the lab there. That's when you walk into your office when you're at work. You will have those two screens up there, this Bloomberg terminal. What we have is in this lab that our professors hold classes. They have those classes where the students are learning concepts in fixed income and portfolios and investments and other things like that, or in accounting classes are possible. And they can immediately apply their knowledge right there on the Bloomberg terminal, being able to integrate it in and being able to have it become part of the hands-on of being able to learn and then do, and then have a feedback loop on the next time that they're learning a key concept within that. And so this was at the ribbon cutting for the Bloomberg lab. This is a woman, Tali Goodman, who was our valedictorian a couple of years ago. I mentioned her already, who had majored in business analytics and then did computer science in Stern College. Right out of school, she got hired by Bloomberg. And so the perfect person to be able to be cutting the ribbon at it. And we have Fred Drellick, and we have Stephen Drellick and Fred Kraus, who are right behind her, the two people who made the lab possible as we were cutting the ribbon on it. One of the updates that we have, so this was at the Barron campus that we were inaugurating it. We have right now that Dean Strauss and Fred and Steve are working on being able to create the lab at the Wilf campus, that we can hold those same classes at the Wilf campus. In addition, this is a shot from the first day of class when Professor Andreas Christopoulos is projecting the Bloomberg terminal behind him as he's showing them how to be able to use it and then integrate it into the analysis that we're doing. And also, one of our students, Jonah Loskov, used the data from the Bloomberg terminal to create his senior thesis that Fred Kraus here is holding in his hands. And so these are a bunch of the things that are opened up as new opportunities for the students to be able to build their excellence in key areas within finance, within accounting, within entrepreneurship, within strategy and entrepreneurship, the piece that is the most, that heads towards a lot of the preparation for the Tamid case competition. And so across all of the majors where we're going to be able to have the ways that they're going to be able to build that excellence as they're heading into the workplace and beyond. And so let me continue in terms of being able to show you a little bit more in terms of some of the outcome metrics that we can be able to point to. That's going to be coming up when I talk about some of the job stuff with undergrad. For now, though, let me shift gears briefly into graduate, because this has been another way in which we have been able to build some of the other parts of Syms over the last couple of years. Let me introduce you to some of the things that are relatively brand new within the school compared to the long time strengths that we've been able to have within undergrad. And then we'll come back a little bit to the undergrad. We'll also talk a little bit about the faculty that are having this impact on the students. And so let me shift gears right now into the graduate side. Some of the other things that have changed over the last few months are some of the leadership, two in particular leadership positions within Syms. This was the subject of one of my newsletters back in the fall about new leadership coming to Syms, both at the level of the MBA program and also within the board of overseers that we have within Syms. And so first within the MBA program, Thank you to Mark Finkel, a star professor for us, but also the architect of the MBA program that we introduced 2.5 years ago. He has now handed over the reins to the head of our marketing department, Dr. Tamara Avnet, who is now the director of the MBA program and doing some amazing stuff within the program. We'll see some of the landscape of the program next. But this is where we've had like some new leadership that's taken the reins for the next stage of the program. In terms of the MBA program that we introduced 2.5 years ago, it is a very sophisticated online asynchronous MBA program. We invested 2 years in being able to develop with a key partner, being able to have a lot of attention given to how to create online excellence, not just taking something that's going on in the classroom and just recording it and putting it online, but instead rethinking the education and taking all the tools of online education and be able to use it in all the appropriate ways. Being able to do online role plays, being able to have negotiation exercises, being able to have discussions online, a variety of other things that are able to harness that. We just introduced over the last 2 months a couple of joint programs that are now going to be able to take the very flexible online MBA program and be able to marry it up with 2 other strengths at YU. First of them that we actually had a pioneering student who came in the fall is to be able to partner with REITs, with the Rabbinics program, to do a Smicha plus MBA program. And so that one is off and running. And then just about a little bit more than a month ago, we got the approval from New York State to do YU's first ever JD MBA program. That's joint with Cardozo Law School, YU's very strong law school, about being able to have students who do the first 2 years of law, then do their 3rd year in the MBA program, and then the 4th year they go back to law school. And in 4 years, they are able to complete both degrees. We're able to use a bunch of the electives for MBA. We're able to use some of the courses from Cardozo and vice versa, be able to cut the amount of time that they spend in the program. And so in those 4 years, JD MBA, Smicha plus MBA, they're able to do that also in parallel with doing Smicha and not add any time to it. As long as we have a layout for if they want to do over the last 2 years of Smicha, last 3 years of Smicha. Then again, we have the pioneering students who have come in from that. And we're about to head out to start talking to the law students about this coming fall, being able to start in the JD MBA program. And then we also have other grad schools at YU, including Azrieli, the Jewish Education School, being able to cross-register into our courses, being able to take leadership with our MBA students and be able to learn those types of things that are going to be able to bring together the excellence of YU wherever it is. Being able to have the one YU that we talked about before with being able to minor across the schools, being able to bring that into the grad program. We also have been developing a bunch of focuses right now, electives that will possibly be turning into concentrations. We've already had the first concentration. That's why there's an asterisk on it for real estate that New York State has approved our being able to coalesce our electives in real estate into a concentration. And the same kind of thing about students being able to get depth in addition to the broad MBA training, being able to have depth if they want in accounting and entrepreneurship, business analytics, all the other things that you see there as being able to be the places that they can go deep and being able to really have the excellence that they're building within the grad program. And then also, we are right now developing other pipelines of students, broadening like the national and even international footprint. 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, I was in Israel and I actually did breakfast with 5 of our students from Israel who are in the MBA program. Because it's asynchronous outside of having to coordinate with 1 or 2 other people on role plays and exercises, students can fully participate from 7 time zones away in Israel or anywhere else in the world that they want to be able to do it. And so broadening the footprint of it. We also just introduced, we just got approved by New York State, and I've introduced what we call the 1+2 program for YU undergrads who are finishing. If they don't have the work experience, but they want to apply to the MBA program, get accepted with a delayed deferral. That's where they can apply as they are graduating, be able to be admitted, and then after a year of work experience, be able to come into the MBA program with that delayed admission, and with the deposit they put down on it, that they can freeze the tuition at the tuition that it was when they had graduated. And so that's the 1+2 program, which I actually happen to think is even more valuable for the students who at YU didn't do business undergrad. If they're coming from Stern or from Yeshiva College, about being able to get in the work experience, and then if they want to head into the business realm, being able to have the MBA foundation to be able to do that for themselves. And so that's one of the other key things in terms of pipelines for the students. The young alumni from YU, being able to have them understand that this is now a major option for them. And then also being able to involve the other YU grad students we mentioned with the joint efforts that we're doing, and the ways that they can cross-register or be able to do the joint programs. That has resulted in tremendous growth within the program. After our May cohort, this is one of the other key things in terms of flexibility, not just geographic flexibility, not just the course flexibility with electives and eventually the concentrations, but also the flexibility to be able to start 3 different times during the year. You don't just start in August, you can also start in January, you can start in May. When we have our May cohort in Yud Hashem starting, we will be at or around 100 students who are in the MBA program, after it being down at a fraction of that, down at about 13, just before we introduced this and replaced our old executive MBA program with this new program. And so, B'lian Hara, we have major ways in which growth, critical mass opens up all sorts of other options for new electives and for other ways in which the students are going to be able to benefit from all the things that we've been able to build into the MBA program. And so that's in terms of the growth on the Syms grad side, the flagship MBA program, with everything focused on being able to have that be as impactful to the students as possible. The other leadership transition that I mentioned is at the Board of Overseers level. We had a longtime chair of the Board of Overseers, Avram Blumenthal, did yeoman's work for several years together, especially with Dean Strauss before I even came on board. Avram has now made Aliyah and is heading off to the next stage of his life. And so now one of our members of the board, David Chubak, who has been a terrific partner already, he was already when he was even before he became the chair, but as the anchor of our commercial banking committee, being able to pave the path for students, being able to have them have that as a job opportunity within the commercial banking and now wealth management realm. David was a key player on that committee and then stepped up to the board, has been a great partner. And now as the chair of the board, has been tremendous at being able to bring together a bunch of efforts and add on new pieces to the puzzle. And so welcome to David and thank you to Avram in the same way that we said welcome to Dr. Avnet and thank you to Professor Finkel for all the leadership that they have brought and are going to be bringing to the programs. And so that's about a couple of the things in terms of the other pieces of the school that have developed in the recent months and then also the recent years. Let me go back to now focusing a little bit on the faculty, but also some of the other recent things that have been introduced in the curriculum. So one of the new things that we added a year and a half ago is something we call the business communications curriculum. This is to be able to build what you could call the soft skills. If anything, it is the most critical skills that the students are going to need in the workplace. And in the middle here, this is Professor Mark Spear, who was the one who designed and pulled together the business communications curriculum. This is him working firsthand with the students to be able to build their skills. There are 3 legs of the stool that they build within business communications. First off is oral communication. Second is written communication. And third is professionalism. And so a bunch of pieces of the preparation to excel in the workplace that come from that. However, it goes even beyond the workplace. A bunch of the other skills that they can, I'll use an example in a moment, that one of them that he recently, Professor Spears sent to me. This was just recently a student who had just taken business communications, talking about her elevator pitch. This is one of the key things that they practice within business communications. And Noam Aman said that I met a senior executive for JP Morgan in my gym bathroom today. You never know when these skills are going to be important. I remember we reviewed in class, and guess what? Thanks to my elevator pitch, we're planning a coffee date. I thought I would share this mini win today with you. So that's one example of being able to build the students' skills and also their confidence in it. Just another example that I found very touching recently. Professor Spear, I think, was the one who shared with me a story about one of the students who, unfortunately, her grandmother had passed away. And at the Levaya for her grandmother, she had the confidence to stand up and give her reflections about her grandmother in front of everyone. And a lot of that confidence came from the practicing in business communications, from the skill building that they were building to be able to, at key inflection points in life, whether it's in the workplace or in the community, about being able to have those skills, be able to translate into being able to have our students be different, stronger, more effective, and more confident in all the things that they are doing. And so that's another example of within the curriculum, being able to hone things for the students. Who are these people who are doing it within this curriculum? there are a whole bunch of rock star faculty that we've been able, fortunately, to be able to bring into Syms. Over the last 4 years, we have done, just to take one slice at it, the full-time tenure track faculty that we've been able to do 7 searches for those faculty members across almost every one of our departments. In all 7 of those, we've been able to attract our #1 candidate. And a whole bunch of them are coming because they get to know our students, see the impact they can have on them, and the passion that we have for being able to build the excellence in their preparation about their coming on board. Just to give you some examples that couldn't fit the 7th onto here, but this is the where they are coming from in terms of their PhDs. They are coming from the excellence in research. They're coming as terrific teachers into the classroom to be able to impact it. PhDs from Yale, a couple from Columbia, a couple from Rutgers, the one I couldn't fit onto here, from Berkeley, from NYU. They're coming across the board into the classroom to be able to impact our students in that. And also a bunch of the alumni that we have who come back as star adjunct professors to be able to teach our students while they are still changing the world from their day jobs, being able to be role models for them, being able to end class with a Dvar Torah that's connected to the things that they've been doing that day, having them be able to learn from the role modeling and the things that they've encountered in the workplace. All of these are the kinds of things that these are the people at the front of the class who are going to be able to impact the students when they are coming in. And so let me just shift gears to the final in terms of the job stuff that I've been talking about. We work very closely together with the Career Center at YU. That's the Sheva Glaubeck Center. The main metric that career centers across the country use to be able to capture the bottom line success that they have at helping students get to where they want to get to post-graduation is within 6 months of graduation, what percentage have gotten to those destinations, grad school or job. When I was coming on board, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago or so, YU was about 90%, which is an excellent amount, pretty good in terms of being able to be comparable across a lot of the best schools. It then rose to 92%. It then went from there to 95%. And then this past year, 97% of the students within 6 months being able to get to the job or to the grad school that they want to be able to get to. And so that's one of the key things in terms of being able to build that excellence, having employers appreciate that excellence, having them want to come and be able to hire our students as being another one of the ways that we can see, have we achieved that mission of being able to develop the Torah grounded to excel in the workplace and also in the community. Where are they going to typically? So that's on this word cloud is where they are going to the top 6 things that they're heading into: finance, real estate, technology, consulting, the marketing and advertising, education, et cetera. These are the domains that the students are going into, and they're being hired by the top companies. Name brand companies that are coming for them if that's where the students want to go, or being able to go into more niche domains or other things that we've been opening up as paths for them, whether it's wealth management, whether it's in the technology and entrepreneurship, whether it's in the commercial banking and other things like that we have as alternatives to the long-time places that the students used to go, that now we've been able to build a whole bunch of the other ways that they're going to be able to take advantage of everything that we have and then be able to get out there and be able to pursue that career that they've been building towards. So now let me go briefly into beyond the classroom and the fall and spring semesters into the summer and Israel. So let me describe for you something that just finished its 3rd year that we were doing. This is the YU Summer Internship Program in Israel. Something that this past summer, we had 24 students living on the YU campus in Jerusalem and being able to get at night shiurim, being able to get over the weekend Shabbatons, but also being able to do some very high impact internships for top Israeli companies, for startups and other organizations. This is just to give you an idea from this past summer of where they were working. A whole variety of things, and a lot of this was student driven. A student who was interested in journalism, and we tapped the powerful YU network to be able to get an internship at the Times of Israel. Another one, and this is also, that's a YU-wide effort, 1/3 of the students were not coming from Syms, we're coming from Stern or from Yeshiva College. There was one from Stern who was doing pre-engineering and was very interested in being able to bring that together with Torah. And so right in the middle, we tapped the YU network to be able to get to the Tzomet Institute that brings together technology to be able to solve halakhic issues making Shabbos telephones for doctors, Shabbos elevators. While I was in Israel, someone mentioned that they make the metal detectors at the Kotel that they use over Shabbos and other things like that. Also, a venture capital firm, Sabir Venture Partners, and a variety of other things that you see here of ways in which the students were able to leverage that into real experience, being able to work, but also doing it in the Holy Land. And so that's one of the other key things that we have now that the students can take advantage of for the summer. We just ramped up this past week the recruiting both of students and companies for this coming summer. We work very closely again with the YU Israel the YU Israel office, but also the Career Center to be able to do the matching and the other things that go into the summer internship program. However, now it's not only limited to being able to do either your gap year in Israel or your couple of months that you can do over the summer. If people are interested, there's a page up now on this, the YU in Israel undergraduate program, where students can be able to do more time in Israel and be able to be earning YU credits. And so head to the web page for this and be able to understand whether it's this for you or not. It's going to be launching this fall. Right now, it's being able to get the applications from students. So another one of the key pieces on the Israel side, you're being able to leverage YU, its excellence, and its partnering with Israeli schools for being able to have that become another part of some of the options for the students. Let me fast forward now to, we talked a little bit before about the entrepreneurship side of what things the students can do. We've referred to a couple of parts of it here with the summer internship program at the top and the other pieces that go into it. Let me just fast forward to one very unique part of this hands-on experience that students can get at YU. And so this is where they're getting both startup experience and investor experience. Top left here in orange, we have two of our star alumni who are in the venture capital field and come back to campus to be able to teach our students angel and venture capital investing. For the students who have taken that course, have done well in that course, they can then transition, the bottom left over here, into Maccabee Ventures. It's a multi-million-dollar venture capital fund, actually raising its second round right now, if anyone's interested in that. But a very successful first fund that they had where the students are the ones who are acting as the venture capitalists on that fund. The students are the ones, as undergrads, getting firsthand experience in how do you do due diligence, investigating startups that they might want to invest in, making recommendations about which ones to negotiate terms with, being able to see after the investment, what does it take to build it? And so getting firsthand application of what they are learning and being able to do it as a venture capitalist. And also the students on this next slide are the ones who in the annual meeting with the investors in the fund, the limited partner meeting, they are the ones planning it. They are the ones who are running the LP meeting. This is Gabrielle Posner, who was the one who opened up the LP meeting a year ago, being able to then set the table for then handing it to the next students who are going to describe what was the performance of the fund over the last year, or the activities that they had, what are the plans for the coming year. This is where the students are getting firsthand experience at being able to have all the things that go into rounding out their education and being able to develop and exercise those muscles and being able to bring the excellence to the workplace while they are still even just undergrads at YU. So with that update on the state of the school, let me give a quick tour through what we've spent over this last year, being able to celebrate a lot of the things that you just saw and being able to have monthly themes and events that we were being able to do both on campus and beyond campus to be able to celebrate the 36 years, everything that's been built, and then be able to set the table for Mir Hashem, the next 36 years. And so first off, we started off January, a little bit more than a year ago, doing the kickoff in Israel, given all the deep relationship that YU has with Israel, the 7,000 alumni that we have in Israel. We kicked it off. PwC Israel in Tel Aviv hosted us at their office. A lot of our esteemed alumni who are working there and were able to host us for it. So the kickoff that we had in January. The theme for February was our Jewish values curriculum that we described at the beginning. One of the things that we did, actually we'll build up to it. This is the panel that we did towards the end of the month on a Thursday night, right after Mishmar, of bringing together Harry Rothenberg and Rav Naftali Horowitz and Charlie Harari to talk about a bunch of the challenges in the workplace, a bunch of the things that they were able to bring to the students about their observations, their lessons learned, their solutions that they found to those challenges. And so that was one of the key things that we were able to do to celebrate the Jewish values curriculum and the practical workplace halacha course within it. They were able to also interact with the students as we try to build into all of these events, answer their questions and things like that. We also, it happened to coincide with the Sfarim sale that's going on right now every February at YU. And so we partnered with the Sfarim sale to bring together 4 of the people involved in the Jewish values curriculum who have written books or Sfarim. The one not shown is Ari Wasserman, who is the developer of the Practical Workplace Halacha course and has written the best-selling book on that topic called Making It Work, bringing together with Rabbi Daniel Feldman and with Rabbi David Bashevkin, being able to have our experiences, also the things that I've experienced with the crafting books in Sfarim and being able to publish them and having a dialogue with the students and among us about a bunch of our experience with being able to do that. And so that was February, being able to have the Jewish values curriculum, being able to mark that. March, entrepreneurship and innovation. We touched on multiple pieces of that. One of the key things was we started off the month with, on the left here, this is Uri Levine, who is the founder of Waze, and also the founder of Move It, $2 billion unicorns that have been founded in Israel. We were able to do a fireside chat with him and be able to have the students interact with him to learn from his experiences. We also have the Innovation Challenge, a YU-wide challenge that we have for the students to hone an idea, pitch it to a bunch of judges. This is David Sable, who is the CEO of one of the most important ad agencies in the world, who has also been a Syms adjunct professor in the fall last semester. He taught business communications for us. Being able to have them have some training and being able to hone the Innovation Challenge. Being interviewed by Maria Blecher, who was the director of the Innovation Lab, being able to interact with students around that. And so that was one of the key things on the way to it. And then the teams that were pitching it to the judges. And then this was the winning team that we had on pitch night last March within the Innovation Challenge. These were they were presenting, and then the celebration afterwards with their excellence and the things that were recognized with the skill building that they had of applying their skills. Then also in March, we had a special night that the students put together called Stigmas in the Workplace, where we had 4 people who spoke to a bunch of things when it came to the workplace and things to be ready for and think ahead of time with it. We had one of our alumna, Jennifer Prince, the CFO of a real estate firm, talking about gender issues in the workplace. Erica Brown talking about religious issues within the workplace. Moish Bain, who at the time had just finished being the head of the OU for the prior 6 years and retired as a senior partner at Ropes and Gray, talking about religious issues in the workplace. He is also now a star Syms professor teaching in the Jewish values curriculum. And then we also had Jonathan Marr, who is a program manager at Amazon, talking about racial issues within the workplace. And so giving a real well-rounded view to the students of a bunch of their experiences, a bunch of things to be ready for. We also had for alumni that same month, we had a panel discussion and a dialogue back and forth with the people who were coming to it about the new realities of business and life, being able to tap both alumni and other stars from the Syms community of being able to have that panel. And we also ended the month, again, it was the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Month with our Angel Investor Bootcamp, being able to bring in 36 angel investors to understand better how to evaluate which startups to invest in, how to mentor the founders, and then also understanding a bunch of things about the financial and legal sides of being an angel investor and using your own money to be able to fund it. I partnered in the middle here with Bruce Tarragan, a senior venture capitalist at Bloomberg Capital, who did the second half of it with me. And so we were able to bring all of the things together. Bruce is one of the 2 who teaches our angel and VC investing course and is the key, one of the 2 with Moshe Bellows on the Maccabee Ventures Fund. And so able to bring our expertise all together within the talks and the other things that we were doing with the people there. And then at lunchtime, we also had a panel that Charlie Harari led for us of experienced entrepreneurs and venture capitalists talking about angel investing and a lot of the ins and outs of what the people in the room would be able to learn from in terms of their experiences within it. Then in April, we're celebrating the Business Honors Entrepreneurial Leadership Program, inducting the new students into the Beta Gamma Sigma honors. It's a national honors chapter that they're able to be inducted into. We also had our first inductees from the graduate program, given the new MBA program. We had our first 3 into Beta Gamma Sigma from that program. We also introduced something that we just this past Friday had another round of, and that is what we call our Erev Shabbos brunches. For honors students being able to get together, a small number of them who are interested in an industry or a domain. This is together with one of our star alumni, Dan Blank, who is a managing director of Goldman Sachs, together with his father, who's a partner at Ernst & Young, being able to have a deep dialogue with the students on that. This past Friday, just a couple of days ago, we had the schus of having 2 of our alumni in real estate. Ellie Clapper, who's an EVP at CBRE, the major real estate firm, and then Ben Blumenthal, who founded his own real estate firm, be able to be there together with a dozen students at a brunch, being able to have the Erev Shabbos dialogue for them to be able to learn more about it. And we are hopefully going to be having another couple of star people who are going to be doing brunches in the honors program over the next few months. In September, when we came back, it was the Torah U Business Month. At the opening Shabbaton that we had for the entire men's campus on one campsite, and then for the women's on the other. I had the schus to be able to do a Siyum Hashas at the Malava Malka on Saturday night to mark the 100th anniversary of the founding of one of the most important innovations in Jewish education ever, which is the founding of Daf Yomi that brings everyone together, literally on the same page, and then to celebrate it with them and to be able to mark that occasion. And then in October, we had our finance and real estate the month that we were doing. And the core of that was our first ever YU Real Estate Day and Israel Advocacy Luncheon. This is from the Advocacy Luncheon, a shot of what we were doing at that. Let me just back up a little bit to what we were doing throughout the day, though. We started it off with 2 of our students who are IDF veterans, leading us into Hillim and also doing Hatikva together with everyone. And also being able to read the Mishra Barak for the Chayalim, the soldiers who are out there fighting for all of us. So that's how we started the day. And then it was hosted by Phil Rosen, YU trustee and a member of our real estate steering committee at his firm. And we had panels across the 6 major domains of real estate where everyone will be able to learn about the excellence in the workplace if the real estate realm is your workplace. But then also, we were able to hear from a bunch of leading Israel advocates from the business sector, CEOs like YU alum Alicia Tropper. We had Ambassador David Friedman also gave us a short video that we could sprinkle throughout the day. We had 2 other CEOs who were able to give us a bunch of their reflections and calls to action for the people in the room. And then, in addition, we had the ways in which we were able to have the ways that we were bringing together Israel advocacy at lunch, as you saw in that earlier picture. We had Donnie Posner, another YU alum, who, in addition to his day job, founded something called Athletes for Israel. And together with, let me back up to that, up in the top right, that is Bruce Pearl, a very prominent college basketball coach at Auburn, who works very closely together with Donnie on Athletes for Israel. And the ways in which they were bringing together Israel advocacy and being able to shape the people who are a lot of the thought leaders, a lot of the prominent influencers in the U.S., whether they're NBA players or college teams that they bring to Israel, being able to understand from them the reasons for and the lessons learned for being able to found all of the things that go into Athletes for Israel and how that is a remarkable example of the Israel advocacy and being able to contribute to the community. And so in this way, this is how we were able to gear up the YU Real Estate Day to be able to achieve our mission overall. The mission of being able to educate Torah-grounded people to excel in their workplace of real estate, and also how to be able to excel in the community and be able to bring their values into being able to impact it, whether it's at the core of their career or whether it's in addition to the day job, being able to have the ways that they're going to be able to do that all during the 24 hours of their life, not just during the 9 to 5 of it. Okay, so let's see in terms of any questions. Thank you, everyone, again, for joining us, for taking your time during this lunch hour for people on the East Coast. Thank you for Israel taking the dinner time. Thank you on the West Coast for taking breakfast time. Let's see in terms of the any questions that we had. could MBAs join the Friday brunches? Well, it's an interesting question. One of the things that we've been doing within the MBA program is also increasing the amount of in-person things that we are doing with the MBA students. What we are going to be doing this coming month is an all in-person day on a Sunday for any of the MBA students who want to come to that and be able to have a bunch of dialogues with the faculty. And this is an interesting idea for us to add in also, maybe with some alumni. I think we're going to be having a dinner that day. We're going to be having some alumni who are hopefully going to be coming to that. We can think about maybe starting to carve out for the future ones, being able to do the equivalent of that kind of a dialogue that we saw with Dan Blank and with Jake Blank in that room there. Love those ideas. Keep the ideas coming, because a lot of the best ones of the things that we've acted on come from other people. Let me note this one for us to be able to discuss within the MBA leadership about possibly being able to adjust those in-person days and being able to find other ways that we can be able to have the MBA students take advantage of those kinds of formats also. So hopefully this is also just the first round of a dialogue. If anyone has any questions, please email me, noam@yu.edu. Please be in touch with any things that we can be able to answer for you. Or if you want to come to campus and we do lunch, anything that we can do to be able to have the dialogue, be able to involve you in the things that we are doing and take your ideas and be able to act on it. Please be in touch about any things that we can answer questions for you about also. So thank you again for coming on board. Thank you again to SJ for being able to organize this. Thank you to Dean Strauss for being the critical right-hand man within the school, and to all the faculty and everyone else who has enabled us to put all of this together for everyone.
Thank you.